So now all of this, we talked about triggers of work orders. We talked about different type of work orders, whether it's like safety and health hazards, lower amount services or higher amount services. And now we reach to the process point that actually, okay, the investor was served with the scope of work for his approval. Can you describe how it works? Should the owner check daily his portal? How does the owner being aware that is a scope of work waiting for his approval, and how does he approve it? How should he respond to this?
From my understanding, anytime any communication is made in the portal to an owner, you should receive an email notification.
Correct.
If you receive that email notification, you want to log into your portal. A lot of owners will just respond to that email, and that's not how it gets you where you need to be to make that approval, or for you to be able to see your documents. I've had issues where owners have approved in that email alone and then questioned what it was that they were approving. So we want you to get that email and log directly into your portal and find whatever work order it is that we're talking about. Those documents are in there. You should be able to find directions to each of those things through the presentation that is given once the investor comes to Shoreway. And if you need a second time to walk through it, we have no problem doing that.
So the important thing, I think it relates to one of the previous topics. We're talking about property management. We encourage you to really view our lessons and learn. But we were talking that one of the first things that are important when you sign up with property management is go through the portal, go through the presentation, go through the frequently asked questions, and know to get around. So in a portal, as you said, there is a specific section that relates to bills, to work orders. You just go there, click this tab, and you can see the open work order. You click inside the work order, and then you can have your response to say a question or approve, but this is the appropriate way to respond.
Correct.
Great. So once the owner or the investor approves the scope of work, what is the next step of the process to actually execute? Now we're reaching the execution phase, right?
Correct. Yep, I'm then going to send over approval to the contractor, who's then going to schedule again with the tenant and go out and make the repairs. Please know also that we are obligated if you would like to get at least 2 quotes. I want everyone to know that they do have a choice in the matter, but we are obligated per our property management agreement to at least two estimates if you're not comfortable with the first one.
Yes, and one of the things I want also to mention here, if for someone is watching this video and you're working by yourself with the property management, that's a good practice, and you should make sure you have this option to challenge and ask questions, ask for a second quote, understand why this is the response that is proposed, and then do the approval. Part of the things that we are doing in our group, we are involved on the back end. We know who are the chosen subcontractors, for example, for plumbing, and we are part of the things that we are making sure is that we know that and we're involved with the people are chosen to really make sure. And property management is already doing that, but we're really working to make sure that we have a very good first option that is being sent out. Because time and efforts are important, and we want to respond quickly to the tenant, service them good, because we want to also manage the relationship with the tenant. So, one of the things that I want also to raise here that relates to maintenance and for investors to understand is that on the other side we have a tenant, we have our user, the investor, we are the customer of the property management, and we have the user on the other end, and is the tenant. So it's really important that we respond promptly. Whatever the response would be, you have a question. Great, respond quickly. If it's approval, obviously respond quickly, but even if it's a question, respond quickly. It's important for the tenant, but it's important for you to keep the good tenant at your property.
Agreed.
Yeah. Good. So we were talking about how to respond and all the process of responding and going into the execution. Once the repair is scheduled, and let's say it's a plumber or electrician is in the property, is making the repair. What are the outputs of the repair that the subcontractor provides you with after the fact, after he has done the work?
So I have already, usually before photos. Once they are completed with the work, I get, again, before photos, during photos, after photos, along with an invoice, completed work.
Amazing. So that's exactly what I wanted you to say. And that's experience. It sounds obvious, but it's really important when you especially for us being out-of-town investor, out-of-state investor, obviously out-of-country investors. We trust, but we want to verify. We want to know that what we're told of is actually happening, and there is a process in place that enables that. When someone goes into the property to fix the problem, it's important that before they do that, they take the picture. So you know, like, okay, here is the existing situation before it was done, before it was fixed. And here are the after photos, obviously, with the original invoice that can be found in the portal, the original invoice of the subcontractor who went and filled the job. Great. Any other thoughts, highlights, tips related to the work order and maintenance in general? Things that you maybe think, okay, it's important that investors be aware regarding maintenance in terms of approach, mindset, for anything that you think would be helpful for them to know.
Well, just reiterating the navigation of the owner's portal. That's extremely important. Every day is different. All the different work orders, they come in, they are aware. You guys hire us for that, ultimately. But the response time is extremely important, especially if it's a water issue or something along the lines that could potentially harm your investment. If there's a roof repair that needs done or water leaking somewhere, those are normally the bigger issues that we have, and time is of the essence, and so ultimately navigating that owner's portal is extremely important, and that's where a lot of our questions do come in. How do I get to see what it is that you're talking about? Yeah. And it's all there, it's all there if you want to just play with it and see where it takes you and kind of just hit buttons and see what happens, but ultimately it's all there for your viewing and approval a majority of the time, and time is of the essence, especially. We don't want anything happening to any investments of yours, So.
Amazing. I think it's a really important observation. When we manage, there is obviously the quality of the work that we want to do. We want to make sure we are paying good price, but there is also the time impact. We want things to happen fast, and we explain why. We have a tenant on the other side. We're providing services. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation about work orders and ongoing maintenance. If there are more questions, comments, and things you want to share from your experience, share in the comments. If you enjoy our material, press the like and share. We're really trying to give you practical information from our experience managing hundreds of property in the area. And we would love to work with you in your next investment opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you.